to Women in the Making. Oprah Winfrey said, "Success is not about standing out, but standing up." In today's episode, we have the privilege of sitting down with the remarkable Anna Hong, a trailblazing entrepreneur, mechanical engineer, and the founding president of B.E.L.L.E Entrepreneurs. Before stepping into the startup world, she had 7 years of working as a manager at the largest aerospace company in China. She appeared on a Shark Tank-like show in China where she received 5 offers from 12 investors, the highest bid being 5 million RMB. After moving to Seattle, she co-founded 3 distinct venture-backed startups. She was featured in an interview with Geekwire, the biggest tech media outlet in Seattle. Anna's journey is a real testament to resilience, innovation, and the power of chasing your dreams. Please help me welcome Anna. Anna, welcome to Women in the Making.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Anna, my show is divided into 5 segments. And the first segment, we always go back to your roots, where you belong. And your journey is so beautiful. You come from China.
Yeah.
And you actually are a mechanical engineer and made it to entrepreneurship. Did your entrepreneurship bug start very early on in the childhood, or I'm taking this as a completely different story?
Well, I'm not quite sure if it's come from my childhood, but in terms of the engineering stuff, I started really young because of my dad. He is a mechanical engineer.
Oh.
I always think that doing some sort of things in STEM is super cool as a girl. Yeah, I always think actually when I was young, I want to be either a scientist or a dancer. That's my 2 major dream. That is actually how I, make into my first job in aerospace. Yeah, I was a mechanical engineer, and but along the way, since I was, I think even I was in elementary school, middle school, and high school, I was always a community leader, and so. I'm not quite sure about here, but in China, each class, the teacher always assign some leader to manage that class. Yeah.
Yes,
so
absolutely. It was the same
India.
like that while growing up in India.
Yeah, because we have a lot of students in each class, right? So
we had 30, 35 kids in one class.
Oh, my class even more. It's 60.
That's a big
I think
class.
60, 40 to 60 something per class.
Wow.
And then we have 5 or 6 classes for each grade.
That's big.
That's super big. And
I thought India's population was bigger than China. But you guys had way more kids in the class. That's great. So you landed up doing mechanical engineering, and you said you worked in the aerospace industry for 7 years.
Oh, yeah. So in the 7 years, I have about 3 years of more engineering experience, and another 3 years is more I was the chief staff to the CEO. It's more a management experience. So especially that jump from the technical role to the manager role in such a big company, that gave me a great experience to learn more. So instead of really looking into the detail, the task you're going to finish, versus you suddenly have a much bigger picture. You understand, because I work really closely we have 2 CEO in my company though. Yeah, it's kind of one CEO more play a CTO role. The other one is more like a people manager. I directly to report to them.
Wow.
Yeah, so very high level strategy.
That is amazing. Yeah. And you were pretty young that time.
I felt like that she foresee that. And then after I moved to the United States, it's actually, I already quit my job, right? And then when I want to start something new, and then I was like, why don't I just, work for myself? And it was an opportunity where I met my co-founder in my first startup. Yeah, he was the director of robotic team in Microsoft. He used to manage about 100 people under him.
Wow.
He always wanted to do something, never really started, but we met each other, so we got click, and then it's kind of like a business marriage, right? But that's how I started my first startup. And also, one of the reasons I really want to build up, the girl up entrepreneur thing is because when I did my startup, like I get a lot of help, especially the people who are like me, like my classmate. At that time, he was in China, but his company, he already built 3 different startups, and his last one sold to Baidu. So he's very experienced startup founders,
That's so
and
incredible.
he right,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's very true. I think I've myself been into a couple of entrepreneur journeys and it never gets easy.
yeah, never.
Once you have kids, you're married, it just, it just adds up. Your life gets busier, but you've stuck to that. You've stuck to being an entrepreneur and you've never looked back. So it's very inspirational. And the stories of the people that you found, even I was looking, I was actually thinking about the fact that you told me about your previous manager while you were in China. It really made a very big difference because here we hear about microaggression, we hear about bias, we hear about so many different words these days that the managers are not allowing their employees to sometimes even grow in their corporate career.
Uh,
And it was very nice for me to hear something like that the managers can be inspirational. So there are all kinds of people. I think you just have to keep looking forward and see which ones are you finding and hold hands with those people and connect and move forward, because I think these kind of people really leave a great impact on you, right?
oh yeah, I mean, like, to be honest, like in my early career, my 7 years experience in my previous company, I think I have 3 or 4 different directs, like leaders, managers. But I really like my last one, and he's the top level. But he told me that, hey Anna, in your whole career life, in your life, right? You probably will met like about maybe 5 to 6 leader, whatever your manager, but not all of them are gonna like you. Not all of them you're gonna like them, right? But it's gonna be very interesting if you can find someone really support you.
Yeah.
So my journey, I really appreciate my journey, whereas like very diversity. So it's actually helped me to manage the stress level.
Yeah.
So and then so nowadays whenever I felt like, oh, there's very stressful, I always think about that, what the past I experienced. So because I am always ready for start something over, brand new, because I know that this is okay as long as you trust yourself,
Yeah, it's
right?
very important because I remember I had a very tough manager when I was working the corporate life in India. And what it does, it leaves a mark on your mind forever, right? Because you can never forget these people, good or bad. And they're not bad people. Their work ethics are not great, right?
Yeah.
So they always leave like this. I call this an indelible mark, right? Because it cannot change. And a lot of times you reflect back on the attitudes that these people have left on your life. And are you able to learn from it, grow from it, or evolve from it? Like, what do you do about it, right?
Yeah, that's
Because
very
if it stays
important.
in your subconscious mind, it really shatters a lot of hopes and desires at times, especially when you're starting something new. But for me, that's been a hard juggle. But as you, I think, age and get mature, you learn different ways on how you can evolve as a person and also, understand that that was just a phase of your life
Right.
and
Yeah.
you will grow out of it.
Yeah, that's like, I think life is a journey, it's an experience. I have been experienced a lot of really stressful scenario, in different way.
Sure.
Even during my startup, there's lots of
I'm sure.
things, right? So give you an example, like one of the thing is, like in my first startup, like my co-founder, he's a great guy. We really complement to each other. But the problem was he actually, I remember that was the 3rd year or 4th year in our startup, and then and it is literally during our third round fundraising, and then he had to left the company because of the the family things, and he also wanna like walk away with like 50% of the equity, which is, I mean, he deserved it,
Yeah.
like he was the original founder, he put money on that, but that was really tough on me.
Yeah.
But when So still, when you're in that situation, the stress level is really high.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I never expect that he will left the company that way. I thought that we're gonna do startup forever.
Yeah.
It just worst case is just this product fail and we can keep moving.
True.
That's originally how I think about that. But
Yeah.
things always go wrong.
I know.
You cannot control anybody.
I know. That's
Yeah.
very true. Anna, you worked in a lot of male-dominated fields, and I know you covered a little bit about that in segment 1, but I know aerospace and being an engineer in itself takes a lot of courage because there are a lot less women compared to men. I want to know your experience. If you'd like to share anything, how did you face any challenges, if so any?
Yeah, so I would love to share my experience, especially when I was young. So I heard a lot of story from parents. Because China, we have a ranking system. Like as we mentioned before, we have many students in each class, and then we always say like everybody know who is the top,
Yeah,
and
that's
who is
so
the
true.
bottom. Like yeah, so I was so great. I was always the top one. But I heard about a lot of
I'm
stories
so
where
jealous. I envied all the kids in my school who were at the top. And just like you said, right?
Yeah.
We always knew who was in the top and who's at the bottom.
My high school, like all the girls go to the top university.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that's really inspired me.
Yeah.
So my whole journey in my school is I truly believe that girls are really strong in every perspective.
Yeah.
And so go to the university because my major is mechanical engineering. We have we have 30 people in the class, only like 7 girls. But
7 is still a high number.
It is a high number,
Because
but
I know in India sometimes there would be like 2 girls in a batch of 30 people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Really low.
But at that time, it's already, but 7 is still not like 50%, right?
Yeah.
But even that, I never felt like that I am weak. So I always be confident. I think the confidence was from my past experience. And then I think I also the top 10, no, I top 5 in my whole grade. So we have like hundreds of people there, right? So that's giving me a very strong confidence to go into that. You mentioned the male-dominated industry in any level. Organize the event is called.
So I do want to tell the people who don't know anything about you, because we have a wide listenership. Like Anna is the founder, like I said in the introduction, of B.E.L.L.E Entrepreneurs, and it's a very, very extremely popular entrepreneur program. And if you are based out in US, you have to check it out. And,
thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I did cut you, but I did want everybody to know a little more about B.E.L.L.E Entrepreneurs and how it is impacting so many men and women both.
Exactly. Yeah. So Grow Up, it's a nonprofit organization. So I started in 2017, right? That's when back that time I was still doing my startup. But as I mentioned before, because I am very well connected in the tech industry, with a lot of investors and founders, not just men and also not just women, and also men. So that is why I decided to build this community. So we're starting with like host monthly events, really just connect the founders and also who trying to help people who want to become an entrepreneur. That's the one thing I never make our monthly event to founders only.
Yeah.
Because that was my journey. When I want to start my company, I need help. But I got lucky because my connection, I already had a lot of entrepreneurs, but not everybody had. There are some people say like, I just opened the San Francisco chapter, by the way. Yeah, it's very popular there too, but there are some of the organizations talk to my co-chair. He is like, "Oh, you're female, founders. So why you have men come? Why you have men speakers? And then my co-chair talked to me. She was confused, and then I tell her that This is very important. So women in general, in the bigger population, we don't have a lot of people in the tech industry, and we
Right.
don't have a lot, high profile people.
Yeah.
This is the situation, but this is why we want to improve.
Yeah.
And it's also very important to have male, especially successful person, come and here to support female and
Yeah.
tell them that you can do it. You are great, right?
Yeah.
Like when I did my first startup, like my friend, like he was very supportive. He never said, "Hey Anna, you can't do it." Yeah. On the other hand, he helped me a lot because we were in the same team. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was even the leader of him. So he know that I can do it, right? So that is why I think it's so important to involve more men
I
to come to
agree.
our community in variety way. You can be a panelist, you can be a mentor, you can be like, looking for a co-founder.
Yeah. Yeah, I've come to a couple of your events and I've
Yeah.
met people who are still working, but they always have a dream to be an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
And I think to spark that dream in somebody's eyes means a lot. Reflecting back on this segment, I think people need to understand that there's a reason somebody becomes an entrepreneur. There's a reason that that dream has sparked in them. And if you are an entrepreneur, planning to be an entrepreneur, it's always important that you connect to the right people
Yeah.
and associate with the right people, because if you're not doing that, it's very easy to get drained out in the entrepreneur world
Yeah.
and also lose that vision and that dream. And you might have a great idea and it starts with a great idea, but then idea can be stolen right away. So take action and find people like Anna's Girl Up Entrepreneur team, and find the right vision and the right people and move forward with it.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm managing multiple roles as a founder, as a mother, as a wife. It can be really challenging. How do you actually balance it all? Or do you have any practical strategies for somebody who's listening to you, is probably still trying to figure out, how can I do this?
Okay, I would love to share. So my experience. So I currently have 7-year-old. She's going to be 8. When I was pregnant, it was all fine. And then after the baby born, I think for our situation, we actually have our parents come. We have 2 parents take time to come. But another thing I think I want to share with all the women, especially, maybe men, I think it's important. So when I have my first baby, like I actually have my husband involved at the very beginning. So we went to see the OB together.
Yeah.
Because this is important. I knew that a lot of female, there's like, I'm the mother, my husband's busy, and I would just do it by myself. That's not right. So he is busy, but he is the daddy.
Yeah.
And you're the mom. So literally you're 50% responsibility
So
for
true.
each other. So getting your husband involved as early as possible, very important. And after my baby born, I told him that, okay, I need a good sleep. So otherwise I won't have produced enough mother milk for my baby. So it is important. My health is important,
So
and also
true.
to the baby. So he understands that. So what happened is during the night, he actually, whenever baby needs feeding, so I lay on the bed and he hand the baby to me, and then I just feed, and then he do everything else. That helped a lot. My husband used to be really, he liked to sleeping late, wake up late, everything. But because of that, he involved so early, and then he has more connection with the baby.
Right.
So my first one, especially my first one, really attached to him. And
That's so
I realized that
lovely.
what happened a lot is most of the mom, they are tend to spend more
Yeah.
time with the baby. And then, so the daddy think that baby only need mom. And they don't know, he doesn't
I
know
love
how
how you
to,
say that, because this is really important.
it is very important.
So I think there's a little factor about trust here as well, right? It's not like you're not trusting your partner, but you're also not allowing that trust to build between the baby and the father.
Yeah.
And I want to say this from my experience because
Mm-hmm.
I've been like you.
Mm-hmm.
My husband has been involved with the kids from day one. So we've both been like equal parents to both our kids. And I'm
Yeah.
very proud to say that he's
Mm-hmm.
been
That's very
very, very
important
helpful.
to the family.
But I've seen, for me, also my sanity was important. And I have left my kids with sitters as young as they were a few months old
Mm-hmm.
and gone to for date nights. And date nights didn't mean like I was partying all night. For
Mm-hmm.
me, it was just a quiet dinner time with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done that since my kids were like 3 or 4 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of friends. Their kids are as old as my kids, and they've never even gone for one quiet dinner time with their husbands alone. And
Yeah.
I also do a lot of trips out. I take some hiking trips out. I do go out for 2 or 3 days
Mm-hmm.
overnight without my kids, and my husband is taking over the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very proud that he's able to handle that.
Yeah, involve as early as possible. And later day, that was early. And later day, now I have a shared calendar with my husband. Like he should drop off kid, I will pick up kid. And if I'm on a business trip, he will take care of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to a business trip when my first one was one, I think. Yeah. And then he took care of her without parent help for the whole 3 weeks. He was doing great.
That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, really have to give them the opportunity.
Yeah, I think they all can do it. Till the time they're adults, they can do it. So I'm assuming, you've already shared about your husband, which is wonderful that he's equally partnered with you in taking care of the kids. What about your entrepreneur journey? Was there any hesitation at any point as a couple? Because it requires a different level of commitment, right? And there are
Yeah.
a lot of people watching you today who are wanting to be entrepreneurs or are entrepreneurs themselves, but are not able to find that balance, or like there's not like a supporting partner that they have in their household. What do you want to tell them?
Well, that is challenge. I mean, as a family, they're like dream is great, but you have to think about especially the financial things, like how can you do it? When do you want to do it? Right? So speaking of that, I think if you want to start your own business, you have to definitely talk to your partner, because in the whole family, we need one person has a more stable job, and the one person can be more risky. So I would like draw a really big picture to my husband. See, I can be a billionaire, then now you're my angel investor, right? So I think that is important to at least make an agreement at the beginning, but also in terms of funding, I mean, it depends on what kind of business you want to do. So you can do like a venture scaled business, or you can do just like it's more like traditional family business or a nonprofit, right? Those are three different type of thing. So you have to understand what works better for you. So usually start a like family style business is easier to generate
Right.
initial revenue, right? And it's also like so that's easier for venture scale the business. You have to, it's harder, maybe early stage, like maybe 10 years ago, it's either maybe you just have a pitch deck, you can raise the money, but nowadays it's even harder. You have to have prove your concept. You have some sort of revenue or like user growth in order to raising fund,
Yeah.
right? But you can start with some family round and angel round for a small money.
Yeah.
That's the part like you have to be able to do it as a founder, or one of your co-founder can do it. Like as raising fund is a full-time job.
Right.
Yeah, nothing is easy. Otherwise, everybody want to do an entrepreneur, right? And then, so in terms of nonprofit, so I would say like nonprofit and startup founder, it's very, very similar. The only difference is as a nonprofit leader, you don't have the equity. You don't really own this company.
Right.
Yeah, for myself, I have done startup, I want to do the nonprofit. It's like I'm looking into the social impact, right? So I want to make it really big. but the end goal is make a really big social impact. I already seeing that. I see more and more organization, more people are willing to support females. I don't see them as a competitor. I see them as a potential partner. And
Sure.
I
That's
also
wonderful
see,
because I think that's a very important thing you just mentioned, right?
yeah,
A lot of people think like, oh, there's like the same kind of groups, there's so many groups, but I
mm-hmm,
think the point is so important where
mm-hmm,
you said it's I look at them as partners
mm-hmm,
because if you can actually associate with a lot of them or a few of them,
mm-hmm.
you can grow 10 times more, plus you can impact more.
Yeah. So because like as I said, the mission I want to complete is not a one person, one organization thing. Think about that. Like even in the startup world, if you're doing something, you are the only person doing this. What that mean? That just mean there's no real market, right? But now, like I have been this for a while, but now I'm seeing it's rising. Like the article, more organization coming up. There's a lot of new,
Yeah.
right? What's that mean? That mean it's a right market time, right? So, and my goal is not just I want to see more female entrepreneur. I also want to see more female leaders. So those are the people who are start their new organization. They're leaders, and they're also the people I want to serve.
Right. That's great. This was a great conversation. Thank you for sharing
Thank
that, Anna.
you.
So, Anna,
Mm-hmm.
you have created an amazing Girl Up dance crew
Mm-hmm.
as part of your growing organization. And I've been looking at a lot of videos and I'm like hooked up. It's incredible. How did this idea start? I know you said a little bit about you either being a dancer or an engineer, but now you have entrepreneur, engineer, dancer, and I don't know what else. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Sure, sure. So yeah, so when I was young, I was want to be a dancer, but mom said, "Hey Anna, you cannot. I don't think dancer can be your profession, right?" So I kind of agree. So dance always be my hobby. I was dancing since elementary school in the university. A lot of people in my university they thought that oh maybe I'm a dance leader versus I was organizing a lot of like more academic event. Um, the same thing here. I realized that I really want to do something that I want to find some synergy between entrepreneurship and my hobby, right? That's how come up with my dance crew because originally we're just three founders together. So I really good at dancing. I teach them, and they like dancing, and we do dance video. Really start in my home studio. Three of us, and now we have 17 active members. I never really to promote. It's more like a lot. Most of our member is just referral. Yeah. So now our members we have founders and we also have like volunteers in the group. So I think it's important for us to gather together every week. And a lot of good things happen there. So I give you an example. So we have two startup founders. One's full time, one is like part time, and then the part-time founder actually joined the full-time founder, become their CMO.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, this. I mean, our monthly event or other
that is
event, we
so
we do help
amazing.
people connect each other.
Uh-huh.
But when you're in the same interest group, you have much more time to engage with that
Yeah,
person
this is
and
creativity in the flow, right?
exactly, and also it's a great workout
Yeah.
and a stress level. So dance is one of the things that really help. Whenever I felt like that a lot of stress, but when I dance, it's all gone because when I dance, I only think about the choreography, listen to the music, remember the move. That's all I think about that. Yeah.
I think it's very important to stay in the moment. I have seen even myself sometimes. I'm with the kids, but I'm not present there. I'm talking to them, but I'm not listening.
Right.
So I think we all go through that time. But I think you specified on a very important factor right now, which is when you're living that moment, live it completely. Do not divert your attention to anything else, because that moment is going to pass so quickly. And I think it's very important for all of us as adults to remember that the moments that we are living right now, we have to be present in there. If you're
Yeah.
with your family, be present there. If you're in your job, be present there. If
Right.
you're with your friends, have fun there. So wherever you are, be present there, because I think this life is not fulfilled unless you live in the moment.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So, Anna, do you have any upcoming initiatives or any projects or anything new that you are working on right now?
Yeah, so I think another thing we wanna you know, try it out is like we're designing a AI we call it hack camp, for pre-founders. So as I mentioned before, we have different categories of
Right.
founders, pre-founders and current founders, from C to Series A and the Series B and above, right? So those different customer segment or like the community we
Right.
want to serve is very different. But now we really want to say, hey, how can we make more female more successful, right? And then we need to build up the pipeline. We need to see more future leaders, future founders there. So that is why we want to building a AI startup hack camp
I love that.
that produce more founders.
That's wonderful. Thank you. I think that's such a wonderful initiative, and so thankful to you for starting Girl Up Entrepreneurs and bringing men and women alike on board, and making such a big impact. And I have to really be honest here that you've made an impact even on me. I've attended a lot of meetups, and I've met one of the best people that I'm still associating with at your meetups. So thank you for doing that, because I'm right here and I'm already telling you. I actually came to one of your meetups when I didn't even start the show. And I started coming because I had a vision to do this. And
Yeah, I
sometimes
remember when you first came to my event, you told me that, hey, Anna, I want to do something like that. And then you started.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that you invited some of our previous like panelists in the show, which I think that's perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anna, we've had such an interesting and incredible conversation, and we are coming to the end of the show, which is called the Burning Questions. They're super fun, super quick. So, my first question to you is, tell us a secret nobody knows about you.
Okay. That's a tough question, but I want to share this. This is from my childhood. Like, I think in my middle school, I really like a boy that sits next to me. But like I never told anyone. Even we play the game, you have to tell the truth.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Truth or dare?
I just couldn't say it, because I felt like that everybody know me, especially like my classmates. Even we grew up, we still know each other, but I just cannot speak out. I felt like that he passed a couple times in the long run, but I always say no.
So did he ever confront to you that he liked you, or you guys never spoke about it?
He didn't say that, but in other way, and I knew that he was trying to. He was trying to let me say it out, but I really had a hard time. I was really care about like how other people think about that. I can't say it. I was like, I felt very embarrassing.
This is the problem with 1970s and 1980s kid, right? My second question is, what is the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
I think that's probably, especially for my startup world, I think that is the China, like Shark Tank like show in China. I have to flew back to China for 3 weeks. I literally, the first night when I was there, and then the director, the whole team, they talked to me like, okay, so Anna, let's work on your project. So because we need to shoot a video to talk about yourself and also your product. And also we need to spend a lot of time on how do you pitch, right? But that was a great experience because on that same day, we have couple different teams, like different startup founders with pitch. And also another funny story was we were really stressful because there are gonna be like there were about 200 and 300 people in that room when you pitch, and it's aired to everybody, like millions of people will see it, right? And then they have 12 investors as a judge, right? And then but if everybody say no, and then you get nothing, right? But right before my pitch, and then the director walked to me and she said, "Hey, Anna, so I have to tell you, if there's nobody like you, please don't be panic, and you still need to say, oh my God, you still need to say like thank you to them." So I was like, there are many startup founders there, so why she only talked to me? It's not me, because some of the show, they have a person that like, because they want a more dramatic, they may like, you have to have someone fail. And then at that moment, I thought that I am the one that be chosen to be fail. You know, I was like, by the way, why you talk to me? And I was so scared, but I still be able to, you know, present my idea. You know, a lot of people say, oh my God, Gana, you look like a host. I think it probably at the end, you know, I'm very confident. And I actually got like 5 offers out of 12, which is great. So and the top one was like 5 million. Yeah. And then after that, I realized.
Did you take that?
So not really.
Okay.
Because I wasn't really ready for China market yet, but like we did sign the offer, you know. But that was so funny. And then, but after that, I realized that, okay, nothing really planned. Yeah. She was just trying to be, you know, nice to me. Yeah. But there's like kind of like a roller coaster. Yeah. But this was my first time, you know, be on a big show in the like, you know, major China, you know.
Congratulations, Anna. This is really huge.
Yeah.
And my last question to you is, if you were a superhero, which character would you like to play?
Which superpower?
Yeah.
So I really like the movie Heroes, which people have different type of superpowers. So one of the best thing I really wanted to have is ability to travel with a time machine. So I really wanted to look back what's the past and what's the future.
That's like me. Yeah. I want to go back.
Yeah. Also the future. I mean, being able to travel, that's so fun. Especially, you know, China, we have 5,000 years history. So many books, many stories, many TV shows. Yes. But I really want to see what is really there if I can travel
back. Was Adam and Eve really real? Right? Did they actually, the apple fall on him?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for coming to the show, Anna. This was so amazing. And we loved having a word with you. You know, there's so many people out there who need inspiration. And I'm hoping that today was their day to get that inspiration from you. So thank you once again.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
As we bid farewell to Anna Hong, let us embrace the spirit of innovation, fearlessness, and the tenacity that defines her approach to life and business. Thank you, Anna, for sharing your story with us. And thank you to our listeners for joining us on this unforgettable journey of empowerment and inspiration. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep striving, and keep making your mark in the world. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.